Hey there, this is Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea here anonymously. How's everybody doing today? Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. So we're going to get into it. So a recap of day 4 of the Tory Lanez trial, you guys. What a hot mess. I'm going to kind of condense everything that everybody has been saying and all of the reporting that has been taking place and articles and everything because it was just a hot mess. So, one, there was a surgeon who testified, and he was the person who operated on Megan Thee Stallion's foot after the alleged shooting. And he testified basically saying that the doctors removed bullet fragments from both of her feet and also presented x rays of her feet that were shown in court. There also was a criminologist with the Los Angeles Police Department who was analyzing the evidence in the case and also confirming the gunshot residue. However, there was the question, I guess they wanted it to be a cliffhanger of some sort as far as who had more gun residue between Kelsey and Tory Lanez, and then ultimately the defense quickly followed up with another question, you guys. So the criminologist was trying to look through their notes and try to find, okay, who has more, and they went into another question basically. And they were asking the criminologist too, well, does it matter who has more gunshot residue on the other? And she said, not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person that has more gun residue on them is the shooter. So there was that. Then there was also a police officer that testified as well because they were trying to, analyze different social media posts and things of that nature and asking why, the police didn't investigate X, Y, and Z and everything else. So that was that. Really, the biggest hot mess of today, though, was Kelsey, you guys. Was Kelsey. It was all over the map because, again, sometimes she's saying, oh, I recant this, or I don't remember this, and, but she doesn't remember Tory, ever saying to Megan, dance, bitch, dance, right? She doesn't remember that ever happening, you guys. And then she won't confirm that Tory is the shooter, you guys. So she says that the driver's not the shooter. She says that she's not the shooter. And then she says she doesn't know if Tory's the shooter, you guys. So it's like, well, who shot? Like, who was the shooter? Seriously? So I think, that obviously is going to open the door because then basically, the defense can come back later and put in the hypotheticals, right? And be like, so what if Kelsey is the shooter? Right? Because it's all about, you guys, reasonable doubt. If they can just put a tinge of doubt into these testimonies and, present it as a hypothetical that maybe it wasn't Tory, right? That maybe it was Kelsey, right? Or maybe it was multiple people that had a struggle over the gun. If they can concoct something, you guys, to where it can present that there's reasonable doubt, we really are not sure, who ultimately is the person responsible, blah, 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 blah. Then next thing you know, you don't have a jury that's all on the same page. You have somebody in there that is not with it, that refuses to believe that Tory Lanez is responsible or should be guilty. Therefore, the case is thrown out, you guys. The case is dismissed and they'll have to retry it at another date or something, right? But it's just a hot mess because, Kelsey's having all this amnesia, you guys. She's having amnesia. They're asking her about rap lyrics in her diss song. And first she's saying, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she's like, well, I'm a rapper. That's how it is. That's what we do. We talk bleep, And so it's just, and so now tomorrow, well, later today, depending on where you guys are, in court, they're going to play now the interview. I believe they're going to play 80 minutes of it or something because the defense opened the door when they were asking questions about credibility, and they kept reminding Kelsey, hey, you're under oath as well as you have immunity. However, it does not protect you from any perjury charges. And they kept reminding her as she was on the stand, listen, you need to tell the truth. You need to be honest, right? And she is just very whatever, I don't want to be here today. I don't even know what I said earlier and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no. You can't do that. And I don't know. I still to this day do not know why the prosecution thought that Kelsey was going to be their star witness, you guys. I just don't know what their thought process was. If she has not spoken to Megan since the night of the shooting, or whenever she had to get her stuff from the Airbnb, and basically since then, there's been some little jabs back and forth between the two of them or through mutuals, why were they expecting Kelsey to go to bat for Megan? Why were they doing that? Because they literally built their entire case on Kelsey's testimony, you guys. That she was going to corroborate Megan's account of events, that Tory Lanez shot her, and that she was going to confirm all of these things that took place and confirm, that Tory also was violent towards Kelsey and pulled her hair and she had bald patches and everything else because they brought up Kelsey's text messages about saying that, Tory shot Megan. And also bringing up the fact that, the pictures of the bruises and everything else that she had going on. And she's up here on the stand. Well, I don't know how I got these bruises. So it's just a hot mess. And of course, this brings up more people speculating whether or not she was paid off or if there was some sort of bribe. And she confirmed on the stand that she was not. Right? That she was not, but she did feel pressure from prosecution, but that there is no deal, there is no arrangement or no side deal with Tory Lanez or the defense at all, you guys. But as you guys know, there are some people who are going to believe what they're going to believe and think that the switch up has something to do with some sort of a deal. But I would argue that Kelsey is not helping Tory either, right? If this was like a blatant sabotage, she would wholeheartedly, go a lot more, right? She would say a whole lot more to really throw Megan under the bus, you guys. And she would say a whole lot more that would have, helped Tory, right? So the fact that, she's not really cooperating anything for Megan, but she's not helping Tory Lanez either, you guys. And initially, I didn't think that Tory Lanez needed to take the stand, but because this was such a hot mess of a testimony, now he has to, right? Initially, I didn't think it would be a good idea for him, but now he has to because now he has to basically clear up the mess that Kelsey made, and really tell a true account of what took place and to be able to handle himself during cross-examination when the prosecution, really gets at him. So it's wild, you guys. But that was like the main thing. I mean, Kelsey obviously, the only thing she really could say was that she didn't shoot Meg and she doesn't know if Tory Lanez shot Meg. Like, that's all it was. And I just wish they need to find this driver, you guys. They need to find Jaquan Swift, you guys, because if he's not the shooter and he didn't do anything, he's the one, though, that is the most sober out of all of them. They need him and his testimony because he can give the most coherent account of what took place. But all in all, it's just bad from the jump, right? All this started because, number one, of jealousy of Tory Lanez flirting with Kylie Jenner. And, Kylie Jenner having to throw them out because they were too drunk and out of control. And then things escalating, everybody's arguing in the car because it was a great idea to expose that, oh yeah, I'm sleeping with your best friend too. While you were recovering from COVID, I decided to smash your best friend. And now all hell's broken loose. And now everybody's yelling. And now everybody is arguing. And now the car's pulled over twice on two separate occasions. And it escalates and spills out into the street, and then ultimately 5 gunshots go off. But for some reason, Kelsey doesn't know who shot Meg the Stallion. She heard gunshots, but she doesn't know who did the shooting. I cannot, you guys. I can't. And this is just what I mean, you guys. It's like a Tyler Perry movie. It's like a Tyler Perry show where you just want the foolishness to stop. Like, it's giving If Loving You Was Wrong, you guys. That's what it's giving. It's giving If Loving You Was Wrong. I don't want to be right. I'm gonna shoot you to, assert my dominance over you, or to assert my possession over you, or whatever, right? Like, it's just too much. It is just absolutely too much. And I hope this ends by the end of next week, but I have a feeling it might not, because ultimately I don't know how many more people that the prosecution's going to call to the stand, but after that the defense has to present their case, right? They have to present the people that they're going to be calling to the stand, which is going to include the eyewitness, right, who allegedly saw two women fighting in the street, you guys. So that is to, you know, also coming up as well, presumably next week, among other things, and whether or not Kylie Jenner and or Corey Gamble are going to testify, you guys. But what are they going to testify about, right? Because they weren't there when the shooting happened. All they're going to testify about is maybe, you know, the conditions of everybody at her house, you know, even though everybody was basically under the influence. Also, why she kicked them out of their house. You know, if anybody was loud, if anybody was getting, you know, too lit, too turned up or whatever. And, you know, basically trying to maybe paint a picture of what everybody's demeanor was by the time they left her house. Is the only reason I think that they could really call both her and Corey to the stand, to speak to what condition Tory, Kelsey, and Megan were in by the time that they left, and when Megan came back, because Tory was still there. So there's that. But that's really the most of it, you know. Like I said, it really was just a terrible day for Kelsey, you guys. It was a terrible day for Kelsey. And like I said, now they're going to have to play that 80-minute interview in September that Kelsey keeps saying that she said under pressure, and recants that whole thing. But prosecution has to present it because it opened the door based off of, you know, the defense's questions today. So we'll ultimately have to see what happens. And it just sounds like it's a hot mess at jury too. It sounds like it's a hot mess at jury, that there's some people in there that might be in favor of Tory, and allegedly somebody got removed also for drinking. This case is causing people to get wasted themselves as well, because it's so, you know, out of control. It is so out of control that you are showing up to the courthouse wasted and smelling like alcohol because you can't deal, you guys, because it is just this outrageous. Make it make sense, you guys. Make it make sense. So there is that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will be back to update you guys on day 5 stuff, right? But again, I like to just kind of get to the highlights and keep it moving. And ultimately, most of the day was a hot mess for Kelsey. Is really the bottom line. And Tory now will have to testify to really sort out all of the foolishness that took place with Kelsey. Because it's one thing if she was going to be prepped. That's why I don't believe that there's some secret deal with Tory Lanez and his attorneys, because if there was, she would have been a lot more sharper, you guys. She would have been prepped better. She would have been a lot more sharper. And she would have had a much better testimony than what she's had. She looks like she's just there so she doesn't get fined. She doesn't care what happens to Tory. She doesn't care what happens to Megan, you guys. She just wanted to get her testimony out of the way, didn't really care what she said or didn't say, and then she just wants to get up out of there. And that's all it is, you guys. So there is that. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.